We could survive that. We could survive that. We could survive it.
Hello and welcome to We Could Survive That, your survival guide to the movies. My name is Jack and today I'm joined by a man who once beat Hamish in an arm wrestling competition. By cheating. It's Chris.
Hello everybody. Really wasn't that hard to beat him. Hamish is best known probably for his drinking. He's drunk most of the time, so I gave him a bottle of whiskey just before. There's no competition. He was unconscious. I actually had to hold his hand up to do this.
Did he even know that he was in an arm wrestling competition?
No, I left him a note for when he woke up several hours later in a daze.
Just a taunting note saying, loser.
You're a loser. I spiked your drink, by the way.
That's not very sporting at all.
I know, that's why I did it.
We're doing Hunger Games. Catching Fire. I'm on fire.
That is correct. No, Catching
Something
Fire.
about fire.
The Hunger Games, Catching Fire. The second book in the series, but also we're talking about the film version.
Yeah, fuck.
Luckily, it's a second film version as well.
Yeah, we're talking about that. As some long-term listeners would know, I've not seen The Hunger Games, so if I were to plan this show, it would be made up. So Chris is talking about it.
Yay.
He's in charge today. He's been promoted from intern to show planner.
Awesome host.
Is that
Just
the
spat
title
on
you
my
want?
Pop filter.
Oh, someone's got to clean that, man.
It's alright, I'll give it a quick scrub. Yeah, awesome host is what I would want to be referred to as today, thank you.
I'm not doing that.
Yes, you are, go on.
I'm just referring to you as Chris.
Alright, that's better than what it normally is.
Tosser. He's lucky if he even gets that.
Yeah, you dick.
Go! Begin the show with the beginning of the film?
No.
Okay.
We're obviously jumping in with the deaths. I would like to point out these are deaths in the order and how they happen in the film. There are some variations in the book, but obviously we focus on the film variations.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Unlike its predecessor, it doesn't take a good part of the film to actually get into the Hunger Games. They get in it quite quickly. So just before about halfway in the film, maybe a bit before that. And they jump in, and we start off with the classic cornucopia bloodbath, which you may remember from the first one.
Yes, vaguely.
It was
The
when
first one that I never watched and only know from your descriptions.
Yeah, well, we spoke about that. It was when they all come up on the pedestals, 24 tributes. Should probably point out that this is the 75th Hunger Games. It's done as a quarter quell, which is a special version. So all the tributes in this are previous victors, which also means the age limits 12 to 18 are ignored, so there are some much older tributes in this.
Just to shake things up a bit.
Yeah,
make it
just
a bit
to
more
spice it up.
interesting.
It's all actually a secret plot by President Snow to try and get Katniss killed again. That's only because that's the only way you could get her back into the games. Because technically, once you've won a game...
Couldn't he just kill her
No.
with a sniper if he's the
because
president?
she's too high profile. If he were to do that outright, it would spark the rebellion right off. So
Okay, but...
they should be seen as a martyr. So this is the only way he could try and kill her, because once you win, you can't go back into a games again unless it's something like this.
Okay, but if she dies, his plan is stupid because if she dies, she's a martyr either way.
Well, no, because he's viewing it, if he were to kill her outright, that would kick everything off. But if she were to die in the games, right?
He'd still be killing her outright.
But no, people would accept it a bit more. Because it's something, this would be the 75th time that this has happened, so they'll be accepting it a lot more.
It's a stupid
divergent.
plan.
Well,
Who voted him president?
It's not a dictator. It's not a democracy.
Oh,
So
you know nothing, Jon Snow.
oh, don't say that. Right. So
Okay,
jumping in,
cornucopia, they're all
come up on their
somewhere.
pedestals. All 24. This one is done as a clock face. There's water on each clock segment. If you want each wedge, there's small bits of land that divide each wedge, and then go to the middle where you got the cornucopia. And like the first one, it's got your weapons, supplies, etc., etc.
Right.
Countdown happens. They all dive in and swim. Out they start getting their supplies. Naturally, they start fighting. The cornucopia has 9 deaths. One I want to talk about specifically, which is the first death they show. Katniss has got her bow and arrow. She sees Finnick, who is obviously another tribute. He's got hold of a trident because he comes from a district that does fishing.
Because he's Aquaman.
Yes, he's also he's good at swimming as well, so he might as well be. Katniss does go to shoot him with a bow and arrow, but there's a little bit about remember who your real friends are and stuff they say before, but whatever, we don't need to get into all of that. Now this guy runs up behind Katniss while she's looking at Finnick. Finnick shouts for her to get down. She ducks. Finnick throws his trident over Katniss, impaling the guy in the chest. While that happens, the other 8 tributes are sort of just dying around the cornucopia. The guy has a sword.
If I'm President Snow and I want to kill Katniss,
Yeah.
on other little sections of water split off from each other's section of water.
Yeah, you got 2 tributes in each
Okay.
section.
Have a shark in Katniss's bit.
Yeah, they could
and
have.
then it eats her, and then when she's swimming to go and get her equipment, shark eats. I'm already a better dictator than this Snow guy.
He doesn't plan the games. They're planned by the game
he
maker.
should do. If he wants to get rid of her, he uses parliamentary dictatory influence. Plunk a shark in there. But anyway, so this District 5 guy tries to sneak up on Katniss, and
Well,
what
he doesn't
weapon
really
does
sneak.
he have?
He has a sword. And he full on runs at her, and she's got his back to him. She only knows because Finnick's obviously looking at her. Tells her to duck. She ducks. Trident over right into his chest.
He should be better with the sword and deflect the trident like
Oh,
a lightsaber.
no, you see the size of this trident, right?
How big is the How big is the sword as
It's
well?
It's a little hand sword. Imagine a Roman soldier, the type of swords they had. Well,
Also, not like a big broadsword.
No, no.
then.
Oh God, no. Well, this is a big ass heavy trident sort of thing, and Finnick, he's had
Launches
practice of doing this from spearing fish, so he knows how to do it. But it's a deadly piece.
Did the District 5 guy, did he pick that sword? Could he have chosen a bigger sword?
If he found one, you don't see him picking the weapon up, but they all get their weapons from the cornucopia, so he must have found it there.
Okay. Well, get a bigger sword and use that, and then just run Braveheart style, freedom, and chop off Katniss's head, and then the fishing Aquaman guy's got no trident, and you just run him through with the blade. That's fair enough.
That could work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to do? Or what I've done?
Grab the trident from midair.
Oh, that's good.
Oh no, I've given him an idea.
That's good. I would have ran, seen him throwing a trident, throwing my sword to his side. Now, as I ran, I would have gone into a spin, grabbing the trident with my hand, continuing the spin to keep the momentum going. So then when I come back around facing Katniss, I'll release it, impales Finnick, and then drop kick Katniss to the floor.
Well, would she already be on the floor? Throw the trident at Katniss.
Well, she was
and then
crouching.
Yeah, but if you throw it at her, then she's dead, and you've got an unarmed Finnick.
Oh, yeah,
Because
that could work.
Katniss might pop back up and
Shoot
bow
you.
and arrow you in the face.
Another thing I would do was I wouldn't run at Katniss with a sword. I would just throw it at her while her back's turned.
I'd keep hold of the melee weapon.
Well, it
Just
didn't do him a
in
lot of good in
case.
this, did it? And Finnick threw his, and what happened? He got the kill.
Yeah, but tridents are throwy. They're designed for throwy.
They're also
Swords are
designed
less
for
designed
fighting and
for throwy.
stabbing. Not if you get a good spin on it. You're meant to train these skills before you go in the arena. You have 2 weeks to train.
He's obviously not trained very well.
He's obviously
this
not trained
District
very well.
5
It's
guy.
2 weeks? Maybe a bit longer. I can't remember.
I don't know. Well, he's
Whatever.
dead. He clearly didn't listen to us.
Nope. So you
He's
either
not got our
want to
skills.
throw the sword, spin and grab the trident, or what would you want again?
Just be epic.
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
I like it. While that's happening, there is another 8 tributes who die around the cornucopia. We don't see their deaths,
Obviously not
but,
got tridents and broadswords, have they?
No, but they'll find various weapons and they all die and everything. Quickly, I think I would have survived that by using the same tactic as the first one. Rather than running towards the cornucopia, I would have ran back maybe into
And then
the forest.
just scavenged what was.
Yeah,
what
let
was
let the bloodbath die down, then move back in again, rather
Yeah,
than running in
that's-
head on and getting annihilated.
That's fair enough. So what happens next? What's after the
Uh,
bath?
Well, that's actually day 1 done.
No, is that it? That's all that happens on day 1.
Yeah, and then we jump over to day 2.
See, he could have had a shark. This snow guy's stupid.
No, it wouldn't work. The head game maker who decides everything is actually spoilers, by the way. If you've not seen this, right, whatever. What?
I was
We're
going to watch it. It was going to be
No,
brilliant.
you weren't. The head game maker, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, the late
Mhm.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, is actually part of the rebellion. So he's purposely doing the games in a way that Katniss trying to keep her alive.
This
So he
Jon
would've-
Snow really is bad.
He's not called Jon Snow. That's probably why
I'm
he's
calling
bad.
him Jon Snow.
So the shark wouldn't have worked because he would have found some way to either have the shark not near her or to not have it in altogether.
How does the president not know this? How? He should have, like, minions and stuff sneaking and checking these people. Does he not do background checks?
I don't think
He's
he does
won.
background checks. Day 2?
Yes, let's go on to day 2.
Excellent. First death of day 2 is a District 7 male called Blight. Awesome name.
He's a blight on society.
Oh, right. He reaches the edge of the arena, which is protected by a force field. He hits the force field, I think with his sword. It kills him instantly. Stops his heart.
What is the force? Is it like an electrical...
Yeah,
thing?
you can't see... Well, you walk towards it, and from the looks of it, it looks like it's just more forest. So it's like a 3D one that stretches out, so it looks like more forest. But when you get to it, it's just like a hard, solid surface. As soon as
Right.
you hit it, you're electrocuted. His heart... He's blown backwards. His heart stops. And nobody resuscitates him, so he dies.
Rubber shoes or like insulation on your shoes.
Well, that's it. They don't
On
get to
your
choose
feet.
what they wear when they go into it. They're giving
not?
in this one. They're giving just.
They're allowed
like,
to choose what
suits.
weapons they want. Katniss gets a bow and arrow. I'd have a lightsaber. Why not a rubber shoes?
Because they don't choose their clothes.
Bah! Is it so they don't clash with each other?
Yeah, so they don't have like
Fashion
fights.
sense.
Yeah, there's a big fashion war. You can't tell it's a force field. Like, you can't tell you're at the end of the field because it just looks like it's normal and just keeps going.
Okay, so they've been a bit sneaky. Just
yeah.
disguising it so it's a death trap.
Sort of. I've got a way to get around this, which one of the tributes actually uses later on in the film.
All right, go on.
They reach the end and then they'll try to circle around the ring, and to make sure they don't touch it, they'll walk around with small stones and bits of rocks they find, just casually chucking them every now and then to the side to see where they hit on the force field.
Okay, that's clever.
So they can see whereabouts it is and they can know to avoid it.
Was he
keep
trying
going.
to do that with his sword then, just to judge how far away he was
I
from
don't
the
know.
force
I
field?
don't know if he even
'Cause-
realised the force field was there.
Yeah, if it's an electric thing, don't jab it with a metally thing. Or, like, wrap the handle in something so it insulates the handle so the electricity doesn't go straight from the sword to you.
Yeah, all right,
Like
that
wrap
might
it in
work.
leaves or, like, the sleeve of your clothing or whatever.
Don't try and reach the edge of the arena. You must realise, especially if you're previous victors, you must realise it's going to be sealed off. There'll be a force field around this arena. Don't try reaching the edge of it. Just, stay sort of halfway.
Hide in a tree.
Yeah, Katniss does it in the first film. It works.
Dig a burrow and hide in the ground.
Probably not a good idea to stay in a specific wedge too long. I will come on to that in a bit.
All right.
Throw stuff out in front of you, because you should be aware there's a force field there.
Blight's stupid.
Yeah, well, screw you, Blight.
Yeah.
You deserve to die, maybe?
Well, if he's been in the Hunger Games before, he's killed children, so...
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right.
He really is a blight on society. Let's make that terrible joke
I
one
like
more
that.
time.
Right, next death is the District 4 female Mags. I believe the oldest tribute to come back in. She's a very old, frail lady. No fighting skills or anything. Nothing like that. She can't really move fast or anything on her own.
Old age has taken hold of her.
That
and
is true.
She's not
That's a good description,
in
yes.
top form.
Each wedge, every hour, has a different threat that happens on it. The specific wedge they're in has poisonous fog, which starts to come down.
Okay, that's good. Why didn't he do that in Katniss's area?
He does. That's why Katniss is in this area with them.
Oh, okay.
It's Katniss, Peter, Finnick, and Mags. Now, the fog starts to come down. They don't run away straight away because they don't realise what it is. I believe Katniss actually reaches out to try and touch it. Then she crawls when her hands comes up in boils. So they realise, oh crap, this stuff is harmful.
Don't touch it.
Run. At this point, I should probably mention, just before this happens, Peter hits the force field. So his heart stops.
Well done,
Finnick
Peter.
resuscitate. Yeah, well, silly boy, any.
Didn't learn from Blight.
Evidently. Finnick does resuscitate. Give him CPR. Up they get. The fog starts to come, so they'll run off. Katniss is carrying Peter, while supporting him as they're running away, because he can't really walk. He's all over
useless.
the place. At the moment, he is. And Finnick is carrying Mags on his back, because she can't run as well. The only problem is, Katniss is struggling to carry Peter, because he's heavy.
He's
Okay. He's a bigger fella. Finnick can't help Katniss, unfortunately, because he's carrying
because
Mags.
he's got the other lady.
Yeah. So what Mags does is she gets off of Finnick's back. She doesn't say anything to him. She just gives him a little stroke, I think a kiss on the cheek, and she walks into the fog, voluntarily killing herself, leaving Finnick to assist Katniss
Well,
with
so she
moving
could
Peter.
walk.
Walk?
If she walks into the fog.
She couldn't walk
Oh,
away.
she's
she
just
couldn't
being
She couldn't
lazy.
outwalk the fog. She wouldn't be able to outwalk the fog. They had to run to try and get away. The fog was getting faster and faster.
Okay, right. Could she have stood there with a big leaf or a big fan or something and just
No.
wafted the fog around
No.
her? Could she have not, instead of walked away from the fog, just walked out of that section that the fog was in?
Yes, that would have worked, but at this point they didn't realise the threat stays in their specific wedge. So if they'd run to the side, they would have ran into a new wedge and avoided the fog altogether. But they didn't know at that point.
Be cleverer.
Be cleverer.
Or read the Hunger Games books before
I don't think one of the
going
things they're going to
into
put in there is the novelisation
of
the Hunger Games Catching Fire. So you can read it and go, oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah,
this is what I
Blight's
should
reading
do.
it and goes, oh shit.
Yeah, do I? What? Hang on a minute. I hit a force field.
Damn, man. Best not do that.
Mm.
Okay.
I suppose what they could have done if they really wanted to try. Oh, wait, no, they couldn't have done that. Never mind. I was going to say Finnick could have sprinted, dropped Mags off, and came back. But I should point out that as they're going, the fog is pretty much at the back. Like, their backs are getting burnt. That's how close the fog is.
Right, okay.
Finnick drops Mags. She voluntarily walks in, kills herself.
Oh.
You're right. Could have walked to the side, would have got out the wedge, would have been fine. They didn't realise at the point, though. Maybe Mag should have like killed Finnick and just because they're on a bit of a sled or sledge. What's the
Oh,
word
she
I'm
could have
looking
rolled
for?
down the hill then.
Yeah,
if they
she
were
had
on a
dived
hill.
forward
Yeah.
and just like rolled. I was going to say ride the dead body of Finnick down, but
Like a sledge.
yes, it would have been an epic scene.
It would have been horrific and
Oh,
taken
yeah,
the
probably.
thing up to an 18.
It well worth it.
So poor Mags is dead. Who's next to bite the dust?
We've got District 6 female Morphling. That's a nickname for drug users. Who is
Okay.
killed by a monkey mutt, the mutt being the mutated versions. They're going to another wedge, and the threat in this one is mutated monkeys.
Okay.
They are attacked, they're having a fight. Katniss is fighting, Finnick's fighting, Peter's fighting. Peter is knocked against a tree. The mutt... What? He's still a bit dazed from his heart.
Oh.
You know, having his heart stopped.
Okay, I'll forgive him for that.
He's knocked back against a tree. The mutt's approaching him, and then just as the mutt's about to attack, the female morphling jumps out of the tree because it turns out the tree's sort of hollow and it's got like dead leaves hanging down in front of
She's
it.
hiding.
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
So she jumps out in front of the Peter, so the mutt jumps on her and kills her, giving Peter a chance to get up, get his sword, and escape.
Could she have not jumped out, grabbed is Peter's sword on the floor or something?
I believe it's knocked down next to him.
Okay, not jumped out, grabbed that, and stuck it up just in time for the mutt to jump onto the
Probably
sword or the
points
monkey.
out like I say, she's called a morphling because she's a drug user. She's in a pretty terrible state from the drug abuse. She's
Well, don't do drugs.
yes, don't do drugs, and you'll be in better health to fight
Exactly.
these things off.
Precisely.
Stay in the tree. You don't need to save Peter. Just stay in the tree.
Yeah, leave Peter.
She was quite happy there. She'd survived, for 2 days by hiding in the tree.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure she could have survived the entire thing.
No
No.
one would have noticed.
Don't jump out and save.
Or
Peter.
just push Peter out the way, and then the monkey thing jumps into the tree and knocks itself out.
No, she won't be able to do that because Peter's sort of laying against a tree and she dives out next to him. She's not like to the side of him. She is next to him, so she'd have to stick her head out and push him over that way. Would not have
Drag
happened quick enough.
Peter into the hollow bit of the tree. How much space is in there?
Probably,
Could the monkey
I would
get in?
think for enough. Yes, I'd reckon it looks quite big. I think the monkey would have gone. If the monkey hadn't seen Peter falling over and was coming towards him, she could have dragged him in there. Peter might have panicked and attacked her though, because it's another tribute who's, as far as you're concerned, is not with you.
Mm.
So yeah, it's another tribute is not with you. So then that happens.
Oh.
So poor thing. I must point
Could
out.
what type of drugs are they? Are they injecting drugs,
doesn't
smoking
say.
drugs?
She couldn't
'Cause
have
if she's
smuggled
got
it
a
in with
lighter,
her.
she could have set the thing
No,
on
she
fire.
wouldn't have had a
If it's
lighter.
needle-based drugs, she could have jabbed it in the eye.
I don't think they're going to let her take the drug paraphernalia in with her.
If it's like a bong thing, just hit it over the head. I don't know.
I would have
Why
stayed
not
in the
let her
tree.
keep the drugs?
I don't really know. This must be a rule in
Is
Hunger
it
Games somewhere.
not good
No
for the
drugs.
sponsorship of the Hunger Games?
Yeah, small children watch this program.
I
They
know.
cannot encourage drug use,
But they can encourage murder and death by ravenous
encouraging their tradition
monkeys.
that has been going on for 74 years previously. Now 75.
Bloody idiot.
So yeah, stay in the tree. Maybe jump out in a better position so you can knock the monkey away, not in front of the monkey perhaps.
Or go boo and scare the monkey.
Can't see that working, but okay. Okay, we got the next death. The District 5 female. Now, Katniss, Peter, and Finnick, after the monkey attack, is sitting on the beach eating some crab. Finnick has fished.
Oh yeah, because it's
Speary,
Trident
finishy guy. That's
speaks
right.
to fish because he's Aquaman.
Indeed. Now, one of the other wedges across activates with its threat, which is a tidal wave. You see the water coming down from the rear of the trees. You hear a girl scream. You see the water come down to the middle of the cornucopia, stays inside its wedge, and disperses. You then hear the cannon fire, which means somebody has died,
Okay,
and
yeah.
the body's removed. It's a really tough one, to be honest. You're in the middle of dense
Yeah.
forest, and a massive tidal wave just flushes through.
Is all the forest just obliterated in that portion?
No, the trees are still
so some
standing.
of the trees.
Would not have had time to climb the tree. I know what you're thinking.
No,
the wave
yeah.
comes down extremely fast. You hear her scream, and you see sort of where the water sort of indicates where she gets hit,
Right.
and it's near enough in the middle of the wedge.
Okay. In the arena's basically a giant circle.
Yes.
Does the middle bit, the cornucopia bit, does that have threats happen?
No, but the threats from each wedge can spin onto it. So what happens when a tidal wave comes down to the cornucopia?
There's some like splashback.
It splashes up, hitting a force field, and then it comes back down on top of the cornucopia.
Stay in or sneak back to the cornucopia. Because then
It's
you've got
exposed though. Anybody?
no, yeah, but then you've got perfect 360 views of all the other sections, so you'd be able to work out. Oh, okay, so monkeys and killer frogs and stuff,
Which is what they actually do later on.
and then you can, if something does happen, you can jump in the water and swim away, or build like a little fort.
Okay. The only problem with that is anybody, because the forest goes onto a beach that leads to the water,
Yeah.
and anybody standing on the edge of the forest will be able to see you quite clearly. You would not be able to see them because it's quite a distance. You would stick out against the sore thumb against a big shiny metal
Yeah, but
building.
Sort of stick out if they were on the beach. And how far away is it? Would an arrow be able to get it? Because that's the only sort of projectile stuff that's got the range. I don't think anyone with a
think-
trident would be able to.
No, I think Katniss will be able to get that arrow over there.
Okay.
I don't know how good her aim would be at that
but
distance.
Katniss is meant to be the good guy. She wouldn't just snipe someone from afar if they're not posing a threat. I
Would-
hope not.
would it-
Otherwise, she's a terrible protagonist.
Would not put it past her. The game's harding her up. I must admit,
She's
she does.
nasty.
She turns into a badass.
No, but she wouldn't kill someone for no reason. At the moment, she's only killed people for self-defense.
At the moment, yes.
At the moment. Oh my god, did she kill Peter just out of rage?
I cannot reveal
for
what's going to
being
happen.
useless. I'm sick of carrying you.
No, but Peter does try to kill her in a Mockingjay. Strangles
Shove
her
him
and
into the
everything.
force field.
Yeah, he's not very good at this point. But, yeah, tidal wave's difficult. Because even if you run to the side, the only thing you could do to survive it is if you got it quick enough, is to climb a tree. But, I mean, you see the water hitting near enough right at the top of the tree, so you'd have to get right to the very top. And you've only got a few seconds to climb it.
Okay, so the tidal wave is basically an instant kill. Use that on Katniss's bit. President Snow! Rubbish.
But each, I don't think they can change a threat from each wedge. Once they've assigned a threat to the wedge,
He's
it
a
stays.
dictator, of course he can.
Yeah, but he's not in charge of the games. The game
Yeah, but he's
maker
in
is.
charge of the country. Right? Buy the television station that's airing the Hunger Games, make it a state-run TV, and then just do what you want. Kill Katniss and then let the other guys carry on with the games.
You're getting too political
But
business
he's
here with
rubbish!
this.
He's a terrible villain.
Yeah, but he's got to play it sensitive though. He can't martyrdise her, if that's a word. If it isn't, I'm coining it. You heard it here first. So he's got to play it smooth. You know, if the tidal wave come down on me, it's quite simple. What you got to do, really. If you think about it logically, you just grab a vine hanging from a tree, swing it, or hold on to it, or just grab hold of much as you can around the trees if there's vines and stuff, and just hold on and wait for the tidal wave to pass. Never
mind the weight of the water pushing down on you.
Yeah, that'll be all right. Or hold on to the vine, so as it knocks you, you can sort of just swing around.
No. Next
Maybe.
one.
Fair enough. Right then.
That's too tricky.
That's too tricky. Okay, we have District 3, Wiress. This is such a cool name. He's killed by another tribute, Gloss. This is the first tribute-on-tribute death we've seen since the first one on day one. Basically what happens is the Katniss and her group move to the cornucopia after they figure out...
So
it's
they
a
do
clock
what
face.
yeah.
Yep, after figuring out it's a clock face, Wiress actually figures it out by keep saying TikTok, because she's gone a bit crazy. So they'll go there. Now they're planning what to do. Peter is drawing in the sound of his sword. They're laying out the clock face, trying to figure out which each section does. Wiress, who was sitting down on the edge of the cornucopia at the water, she turns around and is sitting there crouching, watching them. They turn back towards her, and Gloss basically came up and has stabbed her. He's put the knife in sort of between her neck and shoulder, and he stabbed that, and then pulled it out, and she's dead at that point. Well,
Okay.
dying, bleeding out.
Is that it? Then what
it's
happens to Gloss?
Quickly followed by Katniss shooting Gloss in the chest with an arrow. In the book, he's actually shot in the right temple. The arrow goes right through. But in the film, he's shot in the chest while still holding Wiress, and just falls down dead backwards, and Wiress falls down dead as well.
Okay, they need better lookouts.
Yeah, they're all kind of concentrating on this thing Peter's drawing.
Katniss is the obvious lookout because she's got the long range weapon.
Makes sense, yes.
So, yeah, just Katniss, be a bit more observant. Look after your buddies.
That's another thing.
You can look at what Peter's drawing after.
Yes, good point.
Take it in turns to look at the thing.
I mean, what I said
You're
earlier...
in a legalised death zone.
Yeah,
Constant vigilance.
You should be a bit more, what's the word? Oh, mate, basically what you said. I couldn't think of the word, yeah. Because it's like what I said earlier. You said back onto the cornucopia. I said, yeah, you're out in the middle. Everyone can see you're exposed.
Yeah, but
exactly
you
what
can see
happens to
everyone
them.
else.
But they don't, do they? They're all staring at the map.
Exactly.
Even Wiress turns her back on the water and is staring at them, going tick-tock, tick-tock.
President Snow could have had a killer whale in that section.
Oh,
and
my
he could have
days.
come out and go, "Can
There are no, they only use the water for food, as a food source for the tributes.
Yeah, killer whales are food if you can catch them.
We'll send Finnick in and see if he can catch a killer whale.
That'd be
Ooh.
good. I'd like to see that scene.
See, now Wiress has gone. She's gone a bit loopy. She's lost it a bit since one of the things in the wedges was blood rain. Doesn't kill you, but it smothers your face. It chokes you a bit. It's not
It
nice.
scares you, basically.
Yeah. She goes a bit.
She's freaked out.
Yeah. Probably maybe don't leave the mentally unstable person alone sitting on the edge, especially next to deep water, just in case she can't swim. Perhaps just take her into the group and just keep an eye on her.
Yeah,
And be vigilant. Like you said, put people out. Keep an eye on everything.
exactly. That's not good teamwork. They should be a better team, like the Fantastic Four.
No, right. Moving on quickly before we get into that. We then have Gloss, obviously, who's killed via Katniss while still holding
Yeah, again,
Wiress.
if Katniss had been more vigilant, he wouldn't have been able to get close, and
He would have been
probably
killed
wouldn't
beforehand.
have. Yeah, and he probably wouldn't have risked it. Going, all these guys are organised. Maybe I'll wander off somewhere else. So he probably wouldn't. Have
I
chanced
like
it.
that.
He
Being
would have-
organised, giving him the fear that I
Yeah.
shouldn't mess just yet. I should wait a bit longer. I would have
So
used
that's it. He should have just waited and bide his time.
I would have used Wiress as a shield. Katniss would have fired. I would have been like, oh, boom, because he's a big built-up guy. You can see us, and Wiress is quite a small
He could have
frame
lifted.
person. He could have picked her up, yeah. So I'd have been knife, picked her up, caught the arrow. I would have thrown the body at them to distract them, and then dived down into the water to make my escape.
And then been eaten by a killer whale.
There is no killer whale. Next up.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah?
Move on, Chris.
Cool. Jumping on, we now have Kashmir. Soon after Gloss is shot on the arrow, or shot by Katniss, sorry, Kashmir jumps up onto the cornucopia from the water and runs at Katniss. I believe she's got a sword, or maybe it's an axe. Joanna, one of the people who's in Katniss's group, sees her. She goes, no! Pushes Katniss out of the way. Does this cool
Does she do it in that deep voice?
I like to imagine it, yeah. She does this sick-ass 360 spin, throws the axe and impales it into Kashmir's chest. She drops down dead instantly.
Okay. Again, Katniss's weapon is long range. It's a bow and arrow. Why do people insist on running up to her with melee ones?
Her back was turned again. This is twice now
I
that
know,
somebody's
but
ran at her with her back turned.
why does nobody else have a bow and arrow or a crossbow or something?
I think they only put the one bow and arrow in just for Katniss. So
Give
if you
everyone a long range
basically
weapon.
grab that beforehand, and Katniss is now defenseless.
Yeah, Katniss
because
is
you never see her
screwed.
use swords and stuff.
No. Or just don't put the bow and arrow in there, because that's an unfair advantage. President Snow.
No, they put it in there for the sponsors to make it more interesting for people to watch.
Bow
Like
and
they put
arrow,
the
sponsored by Foster's.
They do. People who are watching it sponsor tributes they like. So, for example, the Trident was specifically put in there for Finnick as well.
Was it sponsored by
Kit Kat.
Bird's Eye?
Bird's Eye and Kit Kat sponsor
Yeah.
Finnick and Katniss.
Yeah.
Probably trying to... I would have thrown my sword at Katniss. There's another opportunity.
Or when
Throw your
everything's going down with Gloss, use that
Mhm.
distraction and then attack with Gloss. So
Yeah,
they're all
same
focusing
time
on
Gloss
Gloss.
is attack-
Katniss is shooting
At Gloss.
at Gloss. You run up, get Katniss from behind.
Ooh, that's good, because Joanna would be watching Gloss as well, because she'd
Exactly.
be like, oh crap, one of our guys has just been killed.
Right.
I mean, there's a threat here. But she doesn't. She waits until Gloss has died and fallen backwards.
Silly.
And it
Teamwork.
takes a big-ass axe to the chest. I would have caught the axe.
What, same way you'd catch the trident?
Yes, but with the trident, where I would have caught the trident doing my sick-ass spin, because I've seen Joanna doing a sick-ass spin, I would have been like, I got up this, I would have front-flipped, caught the axe mid-air, continued my flip over, landed, launched it, impaled both of them, done, game over, automatic victory, because that was the sickest kill of the Hunger Games.
You'd have to twiddle the axe around because the point of the axe would be aiming at you. So if you threw it back just like that, you'd just hit
I
her
think
with
it's a
the blunt
double-sided
bit.
axe.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Or it's got something on the other side, I believe.
A smiley face.
Even if it doesn't, that's still going to put them off. That's going to throw them off, at which point I can continue and rugby tackle both. Then I enter Mortal Kombat. That starts playing and...
Oh no, we don't want to hear the fatality that you use. That's just too brutal.
I like that. Moving on.
Of course, naturally.
Excellent. We got District 10 male who is drowned by Peter. In the books, he is killed by a mutt, one of the mutant animals, but obviously focusing on the film versions, he's drowned by Peter. Soon after Joanna kills Kashmir, Katniss chases after one of the other tributes called Brutus, who's from District 2. Their head game maker is watching them on his hologram. Now, he's secretly trying to protect Katniss,
Right, yeah.
and he doesn't want Katniss going one-on-one against Brutus, because at close
Is Brutus
range,
a badass?
he is huge, and he will probably snap her in half. So what he does, he spins the cornucopia. So the cornucopia starts spinning, they're all holding on. Katniss falls into the water, which point I believe, and as she comes out of the water, after it stops spinning, she's attacked by one of the District 10 males who was thrown into the water as well. Peter, Mr. Big Peter, sees who's in distress and dives in.
He finally gets into I'm actually going to do something mode and not just be an hassle. Okay.
So he dives into the water, trying to save her. Katniss escapes and gets out of the water. Peter then starts having, a big punch up with this guy.
Yeah.
Katniss is trying to get a shot of her bow. She can't because they're thrashing around so much. They both go under. They're under for not a long time, but not a short time either. Long enough anyway for this body.
Medium time.
A
You
medium
described
time.
that well.
Thank you. So long enough for this body to float back up, and then for Peter to appear up next to it for a few seconds. So it's a few seconds when you're in doubt as to whether this is Peter.
Yeah.
or
Right,
not.
I reckon what happened is the guy saw a shark or a killer whale underneath, was so scared that he fainted, and then that's what happened. Or a
Fine. Right, yeah, let's go with that
aquatic
theory.
dinosaur.
Maybe they saw the Kraken.
Yes,
Imagine how
the
terrifying
Kraken.
that would be.
That
You're
would
fighting,
be sick.
and you look down,
Stick a
and there's
Kraken
this
in
Kraken
there.
coming up.
Yeah. No,
They could
because
probably
then
do it.
Yeah, because then it's big enough, and then its tentacles can come out of the water and kill Katniss and eat her, and then President Snow's won.
Perhaps we should be the game makers. We'd have great ideas for an arena.
Sharks, killer whales, krakens.
They'd all be fighting underwater, though.
A lion
And a lion.
and a T-Rex. Well, this is a future place, so they could clone T-Rexes.
Yeah, they make
couldn't
mutant
they?
mutts and monkeys, or mutant dogs and
So
monkeys,
why
sorry.
not
So.
a velociraptor or a giant mutant chicken that looks a bit like a velociraptor.
They think all dinosaurs used to have feathers. There was new evidence that came back up. Don't know if you saw that a few weeks ago.
It was ages ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm behind on my news.
You're behind on a lot of things.
So, yeah, so
yeah,
you reckon...
we'd be the best game makers.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
We'd make amazing games. Not that we're saying we're good at inventing ways of how to kill people. We are really. So you're saying they had a fight underwater, and the District 10 male saw something scary and passed out.
Yes, because I've got no evidence that Peter's any good at anything at the moment.
I know, he does kind of get thrown around a bit. And this, at the end of the film, he doesn't even get out. He gets recaptured by the Capitol, and then is pretty much tortured throughout the part one of Mockingjay. It's terrible.
Dear.
I
That's
know.
not good.
I reckon they were fighting, and somehow Peter he might have even snapped the guy's neck underwater. I don't know. I reckon he done something. A bit like, do you remember Skyfall when Bond's fighting the henchman after he's falling through the water? He traps the guy with his leg, doesn't he? And like crushes his windpipe, basically.
Bond's only able to do that, though, because he's a super secret agent. Is Peter a super secret agent?
No.
So
He's a bread maker.
Oh, maybe he made
baker.
him some delicious
Wow,
bread.
I couldn't think of that word then.
A baker.
Yeah, I couldn't think of baker.
No, I don't think a baker has the skills of a James Bond.
Probably not. So I reckon they had a tussle. Peter might have had a small dagger or something and possibly, stabbed.
Well, there would have been blood in the water then,
Oh yeah.
which would have drew the shark.
There is no shark. I reckon they were fighting, and Peter somehow managed to either crush the guy's windpipe or done something to the guy in, basically breathed in and drowned himself.
All right, that's fair enough. That's
Probably.
fair enough. I'll give Peter the benefit of the doubt on this one then.
Yeah, because this is the first
It's the first thing he's done.
He's done properly. So there's probably a reason this didn't happen in the books then, because the author realised Peter would not be able to
Yeah,
fight
Peter
somebody
couldn't do
underwater.
that.
Also in the books, he has a prosthetic leg at this point.
Does he? How did he lose it?
When it's in the first one when he gets stabbed and pretty bad, his leg gets sliced open. In the film, Katniss is able to repair it with this medicine. She gets dropped in from one of the sponsors.
Okay.
In the book, that doesn't happen. He loses it.
Well, maybe if he had a robotic leg, he'd just be able to kick a hole through the guy's chest.
I don't know whether it's a robot leg or whether it'd be like R type
Oh,
of
just a-
prosthetic legs.
Okay.
Just like a... Or it might
Like
be
a springy
robotic.
one.
I don't know. It
Okay.
could be. They had the technology for it, possibly.
We can rebuild him. Make
Huh.
him stronger.
How much it going to
Be
cost?
the
Oh, was that the $1 Million
10
Man
yeah.
or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never seen that, but yeah, I've heard about it.
We could do that to him. All right. So what's next then? Is
That's pretty much it for day 2. In fact, that is the end of day 2. Did we actually talk about how he's going to survive as this guy? I don't think we did. We just talk about how Peter couldn't drown
we
him.
were just questioning
I
how he
know.
managed to do it.
Drown
Okay.
Peter.
In real life, Peter, no. Just
It wouldn't have happened.
in reality, no.
No. Just drown Peter.
Yeah.
You know, you're fighting underwater with him. Drown him. Because I'd be bricking it as well, thinking, even if I kill Peter and come up, Katniss is going to shoot me with an arrow. So I would have grabbed his body and
Just
come back
swim
up holding
away.
his body as a shield while swimming away.
Just swim away
And make Katniss kill
under
Peter.
the water.
Yeah.
Dum, dum, dum. That's dark.
Alright, but it's good though. Cool. So day 3, we have 2 more deaths on this day. Brutus kills a character called Chaff or Chafe.
Okay,
Chaff. Chafe. I don't know how to pronounce it. Dies. It doesn't show it happening in the film.
Right. Okay then.
It does explain how it happens in the book, but I can't remember.
Oh no.
You then, soon after that, Brutus is then killed by Peter.
Okay.
I believe Peter
how's-
does kill him with a sword, stabs him.
Is that in the film or?
Yeah, there's something vaguely on that scene. It only happens, you don't see a lot of Brutus in this film, or Chaff, to be honest.
Okay.
They only get a few minutes each on random scenes. But both these characters are killed within a short space of each other.
Okay. Well, if this Brutus guy is meant to be a badass, and the people that run the games didn't want Katniss to go 1-on-1 with him, how come Peter can kill him with a sword?
Perhaps Peter attacks him after he's killing Chaff, or just killed Chaff. Perhaps he's looking at the dead body of Chaff, and Peter's like, "What the?" I imagine.
Why is he using ninja
I imagine
sound?
him flying through the air at this point with like swords, so some like throwing stars coming out of him. I should point out that they're in one of the wedges at this point.
Oh,
And
right.
it's in the forest, in a thick forest, jungle. Let's say deep jungle.
No,
in a
I'm
deep jungle.
enjoying you digging this hole.
I know it's terrible, isn't it? Let's jump over the Jack for a moment.
I'm enjoying a delicious beverage.
So they fight. It's difficult to say exactly what happens. I'm going to theory that while Brutus was killing Chaff, Peter comes up and gets like a little, what's the word? Sucker punch, but a sucker stab on Brutus.
A cheap shot,
A cheap
basically.
shot,
okay.
yeah. I don't think 1-on-1 Brutus probably would have crushed Peter, to be perfectly honest.
All right, that's fair enough. Just get rid of the sword. Does Brutus have a weapon?
You know, I have this funny feeling he uses a rock. Like picks up a rock and like crushes somebody with it. Chaff, probably.
What? That's his weapon, a rock.
Yeah, it's
These
difficult to
games
remember
are
this
not
scene.
balanced well. If these were Mortal Kombat characters, they'd be very uneven. Everyone would pick Katniss because she's ranged.
Yeah, and just
Give
stand
him
there
a
on his own.
rock. What?
I may have got that wrong. I don't want to say for definite it's the rock, but that's how I vaguely remember it.
Oh, a rock or the Rock? Dwayne the Rock
No, a
Johnson.
rock.
He has
A rock.
the Rock.
A rock. I remember Brutus picking up a rock. Yeah, I think he was going to crush Katniss with it, actually. It's very difficult. These last 2 deaths are quite modelled. They're not
Did you
shown
fall
too
asleep
well.
whilst watching the film?
No. That'd be ridiculous, of course. I pulled out my books and decided to reread them,
Oh, naturally.
naturally.
So is that it then? Is that the end of the...
That's the end of the
The
death. I
film?
mean, there's a death that happens before the games, which is the death of Cinna. You don't see him, but you know he dies because as Katniss is going up into the arena, he gets attacked by 2 guards and the crap kicked out of him and then taken off. And he's not seen for the rest of the series, so it's heavily implied he was then executed.
Maybe he was just in prison.
Yeah, he could actually still be alive, but in prison.
Oh.
Unlikely. Knowing
Unlikely.
President Snow. Then,
Well, knowing President Snow, he's shit at killing people.
yeah, that is kind of true. He doesn't like to muddle his hands, though.
Well,
does
he's
he?
just...
He likes to...
God.
It's all about... He's got to play it politically right, though. He's got to get it.
He's a dictator. He shouldn't care about politics.
He's scared
He's in
about
charge
rebellion,
of
though.
everything.
But he's scared about the rebellion, which kicks
So
off anyway.
Take some notes from the most famous and well-known dictator, the Emperor from Star Wars. He doesn't care about rebellions. He just built a giant Death Star. Why doesn't Mr. Snow do
Mm.
that? Build a giant
Probably
Death
not seen
Star.
Star Wars, to be honest.
Who's not seen Star Wars?
I've got a few guys I work with who haven't seen Star Wars. It's infuriating.
Are they listening to this now?
I think one of them does listen to this.
Dickhead.
Whoa, easy, sunshine. Easy. I've got to work with them.
Chris hates you.
I don't really.
He hates everyone he works with. He just comes over and bitches.
Are you done now?
Yeah, I'll probably cut that out.
You can leave it in. So yeah, that's all the deaths. The ones that we wanted to talk about anyway. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well,
Just going over my list quickly. The other tributes, because basically at the end, Katniss destroys the arena. There's a big thing of lightning hits this tree, she fires an arrow up, destroys the arena.
Thor.
Sort of. She becomes mini Thor at this point, just for a few seconds though. Destroys the arena, and then you get some captured by or rescued by District 13, the Rebel District, and the others are captured by the Capitol. So there's no more deaths in this one. Until we jump over to Mockingjay, in which there are so many deaths.
Yay.
More than probably the first two books put together.
But they split it into 2 films.
Yeah, not many deaths in the first film, but I know for a fact there's going to be so many in the second film.
Which we'll talk about eventually.
Yes, film comes out November.
Will you watch it?
Please do. Are you asking me or the audience?
Yeah, will you watch it?
Damn right I'm going to watch it.
Ask me that question.
No, because I know your answer.
Probably not. Okay, if you want to get in touch, you can send us an email. We could survive that at gmail.com. Send us how you would have survived these situations, how you would make your own Hunger Games arena. That would be an interesting one.
That would be good, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear that.
Ideas for shows and Survivaloft that you'd like us to see. That's always good. Or you can tweet those. We could survive.
Yes,
the
that's
correct
correct. We
Yes.
could survive.
I almost got confused.
Have you given out the email already?
Yes.
I wasn't listening.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks a
You can see,
lot.
This part isn't really for me, though, is it? I can zone
No,
out. on
you
this
just
part.
blank out during the
the
contact
outro,
bit.
yeah.
Which is funny because I blank out during this bit. The
Ow.
outro.
Oh, you're doing the information. Why did I say outro? Are you done on your information giving?
I've blacked out.
He's blacked out.
I've
Okay,
blacked
blacked out.
out.
Whoa, my
Oh,
body's on the
whoa,
floor.
I'm on the floor. That's it.
But anyways, you have been listening to We Could Survive That, your weekly survival guide to the movies. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Until then, keep on surviving. Goodbye.
Oh, shit. It's all falling apart.